Yo, yo, yo! Que paso? My kaiju amigos! God. Sofubi Samurai back with another Sofubi sit down. But first, did you all see the new Godzilla Minus One trailer? It looks awesome. As much as I love the 70s superhero Godzilla, I do really love an evil, vengeful Godzilla when the movie's done well, and this one looks really good, looks really promising. So on that note, today I thought we'd take a look at Marmit's take on the Godzilla suit from 1984's Return of Godzilla, specifically the red Superfest version from 2009. Return of Godzilla was Toho's first relaunch of the character, and it was actually a pretty big deal to bring him back to his atomic roots. And then a year later, they released the movie in North America, as Godzilla 1985, which was the first Godzilla movie that I ever saw in a theater. So it has a special place in my heart. Will always have fond memories of Godzilla 1985. Having said that, let's go take a look at this guy. Housekeeping before we get started. You may remember my video a couple videos back with the busted Hedorah that I got in the mail. Just wanted to report back. Bye. Did take care of that. They did refund me fully, so that was cool. The whole experience it's still just a bummer though, but I'm gonna try to fix this guy, and perhaps maybe I'll do a video documenting if I have any success with it. So oh yeah, and my daughter decided to practice some henna on my hand, so that's what that is, if you're wondering throughout the review. All right, now back to the review. And there he is, the Marmit Godzilla 1984. This is, like I said, the Superfest version from 2009. Before we dig into this guy, I do want to dig into a couple other things real quick. So, hang on, let's move him out of the way. Like I said, Godzilla 85 is one of my favorite movies, just for nostalgia's sake, in the Godzilla series. It's the Americanized version of the Return of Godzilla, similar to how Godzilla King of the Monsters is the Americanized version of the original Gojira. They basically did the same thing. They added Steve Martin, not the actor Steve Martin, Raymond Burr as reporter Steve Martin. In this movie, they just call him Mr. Martin because Steve Martin, the comedian, had popped up in between the time of the original and this one, but he reprises his role 30 years later, which is cool. There's a lot of differences in the movie, and honestly, if you want to check out all the different differences in the movie, I would recommend picking up Japan's Favorite Monstar by Steve Reifel, or the Critical History and Filmography of the Toho Godzilla series by David Kalat. You should have a good kaiju any kaiju aficionado should have a good kaiju bookshelf somewhere, right? So this is my original VHS, which I still have. I've had it since the 80s. And there it is. I still have a VCR, and honestly, I should maybe I'll pop this in some weekend and check it out. The movie's kind of lost. This is the last official release of Godzilla 1985. There has never been a Blu-ray. There's never been a DVD. This is it. This is the last official release. Toho will not allow it to be released, or the rights are tied up in some kind of weird limbo. I don't know, but there's never been a Blu-ray. There's never been a DVD. If it's out there, you can find it, but there's never been an official release, which is unfortunate. It makes it is sort of a lost movie. Another cool collectible I've had this forever. It is it's called the Godzilla still card set. I got this when I was still in high school, so this is a super early collectible. It's just a bunch of glossy photos from the movie For instance, there's one. And then on the back it has some info, like this is the cast. This one's got I guess looks like a list of the Godzilla films to that point. So that's cool. There's also, some of them have diagrams of the different military vehicles and stuff like that are in the movie. So that's another kind of cool little collectible I have from that. And then I also have the vinyl set, vinyl album LP from the soundtrack from Mondo, which is really cool, and it's got the whole pop-up. It's pretty neat. And I got both versions of this. There's like a sort of a clearish blue vinyl, which I think is this one. And there's also the red. There you go. Also the red, which I have in my upstairs. For my upstairs record player, I keep this one down here in the Godzilla room so I can listen to it wherever. Anywho, let's take a look at the figure now. Okay, now, as advertised, let's take a look at this guy. Again, this is the Marmit Godzilla 1984 from the Superfest in 2009, which meant it's a festival exclusive, so you had to go there or know somebody who was there or buy it later on for a vastly inflated price. I actually got this guy from my buddy John, who regrets to this day selling it to me. And he got it from Brandon, our buddy Brandon, who to this day regrets selling it to John. And Brandon to this day still asks me to give him his toy back. But that will not happen. There are, according to Club Tokyo, I want to say 5 versions, 5 different variants of this guy, including a personal grail piece of mine, which is the glow-in-the-dark version of this one, which I've never been able to find. I have seen it, I've just never been able to find it for sale. Brandon has it. Anyway, let's take a look at this guy. So, all done in red vinyl for the base of the character, for the base of the figure. Then what you have, let's start with his noggin. And the interesting about this guy is, honestly, he's based on the Cybot suit. Well, the Cybot, it's not a suit, which was a large, I want to say it was like an 18 or 12 foot tall robot. Maybe it was bigger than that, I don't remember. Don't yell at me, I'm old. A large robot that was used in a lot of the special effects scenes, but really more than anything, it was used for publicity because they did get a lot of free publicity out of it. And the difference between the Cybot and the suit, they do have distinctly different heads. So this is very much based on the Cybot than the actual suit. So that's an interesting little thing. So this is more of a Cybot figure than a suit figure. You got the eyes painted yellow with black. You've got the teeth spray or painted lightish silver. And then you've got the paint sprays of black all along the sides. You've got his ears sculpted there. You've got some black on the top. Then you go around back and the sides, you've got black spray all the way down the sides to the tip of his tail. Spines are sprayed or touched with gold, which is pretty nice, very nice, gotta love it. You got a gold spray on his chest. You've got some silver on his fingernails, silver and gold. Bobby Skullface is gonna sue me for copyright infringement. You've got silver toenails. And from the back, you see, he is quite nice. Quite nice. Beautifully sculpted. Lots of really good detail on this guy. Really, really solid all-around figure. One of my favorite figures in my collection. He's got just an excellent, like, fierce-looking expression on his face. Very pissed off looking. Very indicative of the Cybot, like I said. Looks great from the front. Looks great from pretty much any angle. As far as articulation goes, his head is on a swivel where it attaches. His arms move up and down where they attach. He gives you the wiggle waggle with his tail. And his legs can do the Can Dance. And that's him. He is, like I said, one of my favorite figures in my collection. I would be very, very hard-pressed to ever part with this guy. Sorry, Brandon. I do not think you will be getting him back. I do not think he will ever be leaving my collection. He is, like I said, one of my favorite figures. So, having said that, let's look at some comparisons. Alright, let's do some comparing. Comparing is caring, as they say. As I say. So, first up, we have the Bandai from the 2004 50th Anniversary Memorial Box. He is obviously in the smaller Bandai scale. But, oh gosh, but that is how they compare. And this guy is based on the suit, whereas this guy is based on the Cybot, like we said. And if you look at his noggin, you can see that it is much more suit accurate, and it definitely does look different than the Cybot. So that's how those two compare together, like that. All right, who else we got? What else we got? We also have, so Marmit did a weird kind of line. It's not a Parababy, it's not a Monster Heaven, it's not a Vinyl Paradise. They called them Globsters. They only did a few figures, but they did do a Godzilla 85 for that, or 84, whatever. He's Godzilla. And that's how those two compare. This is actually, in my opinion, one of the weaker Marmits. I'm not a huge fan of it. Just the way the neck, he just has a very fat looking neck. Not a fan of that figure. I'm very rarely critical of Marmit stuff, as you probably know, but that's how those two compare. There's that. I have this guy, which came in the and for the life of me I can't remember what it was called, but it was a little box set. Came out probably 20 years ago now, but it has a bunch of different suits, and the 84 suit was one of those, so that's how he compares to that. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And of course we have the X Plus. Let's see here, which is a big boy, like X Pluses often are. There you go, that's how they stack. Good grief, that's a big figure. There we go. So that's how they stack up together. This is the 30 centimeter X Plus, not the 25, if that helps. So that's how those stack together. I just happen to have this guy. Here's how he stacks up with Cetus, which is a custom kaiju created by my buddy Nev. So that's how he stacks up with him. And then, last but not least, this is how he stacks up with a ice cold can of hams. All right, so there you go. Okay, so final thoughts on this guy are obviously he is a kick-ass figure. Highly recommend from me if you can find one. Any of the versions, any of the variants of this guy are going to look great. You're going to be happy with it if you're looking for a really cool, stylized Godzilla 84 figure. Obviously, if you can find a glowy, that is the way to go. And if you do find a glowy and decide it is not the way to go, please let me know, because it will be the way I will go. I would love to have one. So, but yeah, I mean, just a great figure all the way around. Looks beautiful on a shelf. Great paint. Excellent sculpt work. Just beautiful attention to detail on it. It is just, man, it's a top-notch figure. Like I said, it's in my upper S tier of figures that I have in my collection. I absolutely love it. Once again, thanks for watching. If you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be rad. And I will see you next time.